So under the doctrine of separation of powers, the ability of judges to exercise discretion is an exercise of their judicial independence. You'll recall from your high school civics class that we've got three branches of government: the legislative, which writes the laws; the executive branch, which executes, enforces, and acts on the laws; and the judicial branch, that guides the laws, understands the laws, explains the laws, and kind of interprets the laws that are written by the legislative branch. Now, right here in Central Ohio, City Prosecutor Zach Klein executed his prosecutorial discretion when he decided that all of the curfew violations and citations issued to protesters would be dismissed. Now, you juxtapose that, like you were talking about, it depends on where you live, with the city prosecutor Paula Muthing in Cincinnati, who has decided to move forward, prosecute, and punish protesters who were brutalized by the police in the Queen City. In this regard, what kind of justice a person who's accused receives is dependent entirely on their zip code. You have the same maltreatment of the protesters by law enforcement officers in Columbus and Cincinnati. But the protesters in Cincinnati are going to be prosecuted and will have to spend time, money, and emotional resources proving their innocence. Whereas in Columbus, justice has now been served, and Zach Klein is doing the right thing in dismissing these cases. Now, when we turn to the idea of judicial discretion, judges in Cincinnati can use their discretion to potentially dismiss these cases. One of the hot topics right now is the federal judge in the Michael Flynn case deciding whether to accept a prosecutor's decision to try and dismiss his case after a guilty plea. The judge in this case was really troubled by the prosecutor's use of their discretion and asked for it to be briefed, asked this dismissal issue to be briefed by a retired judge of that district. And that brief was a scathing rebuke of the Department of Justice and their misuse of prosecutorial discretion for the benefit of what seems to be kind of a crony deal where Michael Flynn, because he's part of the In Politics group right now, is going to get unfair benefits as the result of his connections.
Well, I mean, and this is the kind of thing where you need those checks and balances to make sure that people don't have too much power and aren't abusing it, and to where the wrong people get hurt.
That's exactly right. There has to be checks and balances.